Have you ever found yourself wanting a Lexus, but you can't quite afford it? Well, now there might be a solution. This is the all-new 2025 Toyota Crown Signia. It is a new two-row crossover in the Toyota lineup, and this might be the premium Toyota that you've been looking for. So let's start off with an exterior walk around, and we've got to ask ourselves the question, what is a Crown Signia? So the Toyota Crown sedan got introduced about a little over a year ago. It's kind of a lifted version of the Crown sedan. There's actually 4 different Crown variants that are sold globally around the world. You have the Crown sedan that we know, which is kind of lifted. You have a lower sedan below that. You have the Crown Sport, which is not sold in the United States, at least just not yet. That's kind of a small crossover. And then you have this. In other markets, this is known as the Crown Estate because it's kind of marketed more as a station wagon. But because we don't buy station wagons in the US, this has got a new name here called the Crown Signia. Now the proportions are really interesting, and we'll talk about those in just a little bit. We're going to start here at the front where you have kind of this body color front end down here. We've got these really cool kind of C-shaped lights here at the top. Our main headlight is actually going to live down here. This color is called Bronze Age. It's actually available on the Crown sedan as well, but only as a two-tone with kind of like a black hood. I like that they offered the Crown Signia with a single tone. I think it looks much nicer. I really love this brown. You're gonna get 19-inch wheels as standard on the XLE trim. This is the limited trim, so you're gonna get these big old 21-inch wheels, 21-inch wheels on a Toyota. That is pretty interesting. The wheelbase is actually just over 112 inches, so this is longer. This is kind of taking the place of the Toyota Venza in Toyota's lineup as a premium two-row vehicle, but this is significantly longer than the Venza. In fact, that wheelbase is actually as long as a Lexus RX, and overall, this car is actually longer and lower than a Lexus RX, giving it that wagon look. It really does kind of remind me of something like a Subaru Outback, but instead of looking rugged, it just looks really premium. I think it's a really nice car. This is a really nice height for somebody that doesn't want that kind of step up into an SUV, but they don't want to step down into a sedan either. Now here at the back, we have kind of a connected taillight look with the word Crown here with a little bitty Toyota badge right here. This is a hybrid vehicle with all-wheel drive that is standard on every Crown Signia. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And here you have just your badge letting you know whether you have an XLE or a limited grade. Now let's hop in the front seat of the Crown Signia, again mentioning that this is the limited trim, the top out of the two, but no matter which Crown you get, it's going to be a very premium experience. You're going to get heated and ventilated leather front seats on every Crown Signia. You can get this black or you can get a saddle tan. It's more of a brown. I'm not really sure why they call it tan, but you get this little kind of gold silvery piping and stitching up here on the top as well, giving this a very Lexus-like feel here on the inside. We'll go ahead and hit the power button to start it up. Now, everything you're going to notice here is pretty much identical to what you're going to get in the Crown sedan. So you're going to get a 12.3-inch infotainment system with wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. You've got just a single volume knob down here, but all of your climate controls down here. You're going to get a digital gauge cluster, no head-up display, interestingly enough. We do have an 11-speaker JBL audio system that is part of the limited trim. You do not get that as standard on the XLE trim, but most of the other stuff you see is standard on all of these cars, so that is a pretty nice touch. We've got our cup holders right here. You can actually remove this bit right here to just kind of have like a bigger storage area. You've got 2 USB-C ports for charging. The one for multimedia, if you do want to plug in, is actually in the center armrest. We've got our wireless charger right here. We've got a special package on top of this limited trim that's going to add our 360-degree camera. That is one thing that isn't optional, and you cannot get that on the XLE, so that might be one reason to step up to the XLE model. We've got our digital rear view, which I love on all of the Toyota products. We also have a panoramic roof that does not open, but it is a nice piece of glass, although it does have this annoying bar right here. I wish it did not have that. And just like a Lexus product, we have the little glove box here that you can open up towards the driver's side. and it can also open up towards the passenger side as well. Now, in terms of rear legroom, I gotta say this is the one area where the Crown Signia is a little bit disappointing, because despite being a lot longer than the old Venza, it really doesn't have a ton more legroom. I believe it's a little over 38 inches. Now, the seat here is back quite a bit because it's in its memory setting where it's gonna move back to make it easier to get in and out of. So if I come over on this side, you'll see I do have quite a little bit more legroom. We do have rear air vents and USB-C ports to charge up our devices, as well as a nice armrest with our cup holders right here. And I should also mention that heated seats actually come standard in the back, along with the heated and ventilated front seats. So again, this is a very premium car in here. Now, wrapping up, we've got to talk about the cargo space back here. And this is where the Crown Signia just gets really interesting, because we've got about 25 cubic feet of storage back here. So that's actually a little bit less than what you got in the Venza. And I think most of that is because of the vertical space. You can see this isn't that tall, so there's not a lot of space like above where the headrests are, and this is kind of cut off here as well. So I think it's a deceptively low number saying that it only has 25 cubic feet of space. I think it feels like a lot more because this is a really long storage area here. We've got our pulleys right here that we can go ahead and pull to drop down the rear seats super easily, opening up about, I think it's about 68 or 69 cubic feet of space, which is bigger than the old Venza. Again, that length really coming into play. And you can really see that length because there's this huge gap right here, and they actually add these little things you can go ahead and fold. Now the seats here are a little bit in the way here, but you can actually fold these and they should then go flat, giving you kind of like a flat load floor all the way from the back, which is kind of a nice touch. So this is a lot longer, and it does actually have more storage space than like a Lexus NX or a Lexus RX. So you're getting a lot of practicality and a lot of premiumness for not a lot of money. All right, so now let's get out on the road in the 2025 Toyota Crown Signia. And honestly, there's not too much to go over here because there's only one powertrain on this car. It's the 2.5 liter 4-cylinder Toyota engine, normally aspirated. It is paired with Toyota's 4th generation hybrid system. So you get 240 horsepower total. It's about the same as what you would get in a Toyota Highlander, and all-wheel drive is going to be standard on this car. Now, Toyota claims about 7.1 seconds from 0 to 60, so definitely not really buying this car for performance, unlike the Crown Sedan, which offers the Hybrid Max power setup. So that gets the turbocharged 4-cylinder engine with a hybrid system and a 6-speed automatic. That gets like 360 horsepower. So this is definitely a little bit less on the performance side, but the benefit of that is pretty good fuel economy. So Toyota claims you'll be getting about 38 miles per gallon combined. You'll get 39 in the city, 37 on the highway. So that's the real reason why they chose a hybrid drivetrain. And the power is really not that bad either. It's honestly about the same amount of power as what you'd get in some of the Lexus hybrid products as well. And that's where we really get into the crux of the argument for the Crown Signia. If you want something that feels more premium than, say, a RAV4 or a Highlander, but you don't want to spend Lexus money on something like an NX or an RX, we've already seen that the Crown is pretty much equally practical compared to an NX or an RX, and the materials inside are almost Lexus quality as well. And I gotta say, the driving impression is pretty nice as well. We've got very soft suspension. I think the road noise is lower than some other Toyota products. The steering, just like in the Crown Sedan, is actually pretty nice as well. This is a very cohesive overall product. Do I miss the fact that it doesn't have the Hybrid Max? I talked to Toyota about it, and they say like less than 10% of Crown Sedan sales come from the Hybrid Max, the Platinum trim level. So I could see why they didn't feel the need to offer it here. I think a plug-in hybrid might be kind of interesting in this as well, but we've seen that the Toyota and Lexus plug-in hybrids are pretty hard to find at dealership. They're made in pretty low numbers, so even if they did make a Crown plug-in hybrid, it'd be kind of expensive, and you probably wouldn't even be able to find it at dealer. So I think if we were only going to get one powertrain, the one that they decided to bring was the right one. So yeah, if you're looking to buy a Toyota product, you want to spend Toyota money, but you want something that really feels like it could wear a Lexus badge, the Crown Signia is a pretty great option. So now that we have driven the Crown Signia, you're probably asking the big question: how much is all of this going to cost me? Well, there's only 2 trim levels of the Crown Signia. Remember that XLE is going to start at $43,590 before destination. So remember, the Toyota Venza started at about 35 grand and went up to about 43 grand for the Limited. So this actually starts where the Venza ended on the Limited trim. So it is quite a bit more expensive, but I do think that this is a nicer, more premium car than the Venza ever was. If you want to step up to the Limited, which I could definitely see why you would want to, although the XLE is really nicely equipped for just under $44,000, the Limited is just under 48 grand. And if you want the advanced technology package, that's going to get you the 360-degree camera and some other niceties, that's about $1,800. So you're gonna be touching $50,000 all in on one of these. That is way less than what you're going to pay for a Lexus badged crossover with very similar size and very similar features. So if you're a very budget conscious person, you don't necessarily care about the badge that is on the front of your vehicle, the Toyota Crown Signia is probably the best option for you. And honestly, I think if I were shopping for myself, I might consider one of these over a Lexus NX or an RX. I hope you've enjoyed this first look at the 2025 Toyota Crown Signia. For more videos like it, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell to be alerted of our latest videos. And if you want to read more on the Toyota Crown Signia, be sure to check out carbuzz.com. I'll see you next time.